Welcome back. It's day 2 of racing here in the desert, Reno, Nevada, the 2023 National Championship Air Races. So happy to bring you this coverage. Getting underway for this, as we say, second day of racing. We started yesterday, Wednesday, with our F1s, doing a lot of racing on that day. That's our biggest group of racers. The extraordinary air race announcer, air show announcer, Rob Lowe joins me, Tommy Sanders, and we are looking forward to a great day of racing here on the race.
Hey, Tommy, good afternoon, good morning, everybody. Man, we are excited to be here, the 59th running of our National Championship Air Races. It's the final flag, Tommy,
yep.
And we're underway, and we're excited. Here we are in the Formula One class. This is our original air racers in our country. You know, this class dates back to the 1930s. These aircraft is our only continuous racing class since then. It's the oldest class of racing, and for 66, 67 years or more that we've had the same rules. It's a true technical formula class. You know, we fly a monoplane, single wing, fixed gear. They all have the same engine. Here you see the explainer on the screen showing you what our course looks like. It's our up close and personal 3.5-mile course. They do a standing start, Tommy, from the runway, and we call that a horse race start or a standing start. You'll see the aircraft, 8 aircraft in the race or in a heat can be. In this case, we're going to have 6 here in just a few minutes. You'll see the front row will have 3 aircraft, and then we'll have them spaced behind. Once the green flag drops, the adrenaline goes up, the throttle goes up, and we're off. And the aircraft do make one lap before we actually start counting time and counting laps. So that is an opportunity for these aircraft to get up to speed. The ailerons and the rest of the aircraft work more effectively at speed, so that makes it safer. It also is known as an oil warm-up lap. So as they make one trip around that up close and personal 3.5-mile course, Tommy, they will make their way back around, and when they cross the home pylon, we'll start counting laps, we'll start counting times, and let's look at our lineup here.
Absolutely. Well, there's a Slab Dog, race 37 there, that orange Cassett 3, that's the top qualifier here at a speed of 182 miles an hour. He'll be right up there on the front row as we get ready. Everyone's getting warmed up. We have a red flag, I assume, right now. We're not quite ready to begin this race, but we're getting closer. That red and white plane right there, the Outlaw Special, race number 9, Scott Holmes.
Scott Holmes, and here we are in the bronze pairing, Tommy. This is Heat 2C, and like you said, there's Scott Holmes there in the front row in the middle. And to his left, we'll see our next competitor. There it is. That is race 17. Push Wah. We all call him Push. Now, the interesting story, Tommy, this is the very first racer at Reno from the country of India.
That's
We're
right.
excited to have him here as a rookie.
It's always been an international event. The Buddy Special is race number 6. That is Carl Robinson from Longview, Texas. Carl qualified with 171, almost 172 miles an hour. In his Heat 1C, that was yesterday's racing in the bronze class.
And then beside him, the Sonic Zoom. This is a Cassett that's yellow and white and orange, and it's race 58. This is Todd Rumsey from Sturgis, Michigan. And then we've got one more competitor here, Tommy, that we'll see shortly. There he is.
Yeah, Dominic Kakalici, the Sky Attic Cassett 3. Dominic from Mentor, Ohio, and that yellow and black plane is our 5th place qualifier.
Yeah, actually, I think this is.
That's right. That's
Todd
Sonic
Rumsey,
Zoom.
And I
yes.
messed that up.
The yellow one.
We had Dominic earlier on the
Dominic's
yellow one.
in the yellow one.
This one here is Todd Rumsey, race
right.
58.
Yeah.
So we're all set, Tommy. We've got a field of 6 here, and this is going to be exciting. So just remember, when we will have a red flag here in a moment that will indicate a few minutes to go for our racers. And then when we get to the start, that flag will go to green. We'll raise the green flag. The aircraft will all take off at the same time, and they are spaced out on the runway there so that if somebody were to have a problem, the other aircraft can get by safely. They all get airborne, and like we said a minute ago, make their way around the course, up close and personal 3.5-mile course. There is the flag that we were talking about just a minute ago, Tommy.
2 minutes, 2 minutes.
And you hear on the radio, 2 minutes. So
2 minutes.
So we're getting close now, Tommy. You know, we talked a little bit about the engines, Tommy. Let's tell our viewers just a little bit more. All of these aircraft have the same Continental O200 engine. It's a 4-cylinder air-cooled engine. Same thing you would have in your family Cessna 150. Now, in your Cessna 150, those engines are going to redline. The max RPM is going to be about 2750. These aircraft are turning normally about a 54-inch prop, and these racers are spinning that motor over 4,000 RPM. So it's definitely racing. Now, one of the interesting things about propellers, Tommy, in this class, we have fixed pitch prop, which means you have to make a choice. It's kind of like riding a bike with one gear. Do you want to go fast on the start, or do you want to go fast when you're up at altitude? So that's a choice our folks have to make.
On the right there's Stephen Coleman, our top qualifier here. Stephen Coleman from Providence, Rhode Island, in the Slab Dog, the cast at 3. We actually caught up with Stephen yesterday and give us his thoughts for just a quick moment.
Okay. Well, yesterday I was in the silver heat and came in last. The guy that was in bronze, he actually flew faster. So I'm going to be pole now in bronze, and starting out, the plan is just to go as fast as we can.
And Tommy, you know the pole position is really important in any race here at Reno, because to pass, you have to pass on the outside. So if you have the pole or the inside track around the pylons, you have the advantage, because anybody that's going to try to pass you has to come around the outside. That's all about safety, but it also is the longer way around.
Yeah.
So having the inside track and having the pole position is vital in any class, but especially here in our Formula One class. Now, we talked about that oil warm-up lap or the starter lap. The aircraft can maneuver and they can pass each other once they're airborne.
Yes.
But again, we don't start timing and we don't start counting laps until the very first aircraft, whoever that is, passes the home pylon. There's the green flag, Tommy. The adrenaline's coming up in those cockpits, I promise you. Throttles are coming up. We're underway, Tommy. Here we go.
Absolutely. These tiny, miraculous tiny planes with so much power. The top end, some of the racers can reach near 250 miles an hour. So keep your eye on this one. It will go very quickly, and it's a ton of fun.
It absolutely is, and we're underway. There you see our pole position, Stephen Coleman. Slab Dog in race 37. He's airborne safely, and we are underway. It is so exciting here. Race 17 and race 9. They're in now second and third place as they make their way. But again, Tommy, we're seeing in action here those fixed pitch propellers, and you see some of the aircraft accelerate faster than others, but once they get airborne and get up to speed, the pitch that they have chosen may allow that aircraft to fly faster. So we'll see a lot of maneuvering and different strategies playing out here as we get underway.
Lots of strategy, absolutely. It's what makes it so much fun. So we got our leader, Stephen Coleman, race 37 in the Slab Dog. There it goes.
So he had the pole and he got the early lead, and like he said in the interview before we started, he dropped down from the silver pairing from yesterday, but he's also, by qualifying speed, a fair amount faster than the rest of this field. So we're expecting that he will stay out in front. And here's second and third, Tommy. We see there's race 37, there's our leader, and right behind him you see in the white aircraft, that's Push Wah from Mumbai, India, in race 17, race 17.
Red and white Outlaw Special there out in front, or appearing to be out in front of him, is race number 9, Scott Holmes. And your leader out there in the front, still in a warm-up lap. When he crosses the start-finish pylon, we will begin counting laps.
What a beautiful day here in Reno today, Tommy. I mean, look, clear blue skies. The folks who put together the 2023 National Championship Air Races have ordered the perfect weather. And there comes our leader as he makes his way around the east end of our up-close and personal 3.5-mile course. And just a beautiful, beautiful sight, that race 37 against that clear blue Nevada sky.
Like you say, perfect weather, and it's a perfect situation when you're the leader. You don't have anyone else's prop wash to go through. You've got clean air.
Clean air, that's where you want to be.
Second
behind
place.
the race plate, this is race 9, Scott Holmes.
Yep.
In the beautiful red casket. Outlaw Special is what he calls that airplane. Get a great look as he rolls into the turn, coming around the pylons, and making their way around pylons 4, 5, and 6. Here we are in Heat C, and we're completing the first lap, Tommy. We're going to do 8 laps total. And like I said, we just started counting, and here comes our leader back towards the home pylon. And when he crosses that home pylon, you see the beautiful blue and white checkered thing. There's a great look at Scott Holmes in the Outlaw Special team.
Holmes has yet to make any significant ground up off of the quick lead that Stephen Coleman jumped out to yet.
And there is Stephen Coleman out front. And based on the qualifying times, again, like we said, Stephen Coleman dropped down from the silver pairing yesterday. He was able to take the pole position, get out front, and apparently he stayed there now through about 1.5 official laps as we're completing lap 2 here. As he makes his way, you can see him begin to turn from our wonderful pylon cams out in the desert, giving you an up-close and personal view for the viewers at home. And such a great shot on this beautiful day of Mr. Coleman. And the slab dog casts at 3. As he brings it around pylon number 6 there, rolls out on the home stretch. Now these aircraft in this heat are just under 200 miles an hour, but they're still pulling 2 to 3 times the force of gravity as they go around those turns, Tommy.
It's a full-time job piloting one of these things here, and it's amazing the quality of the pilots, the air flying ability that they all present here in Reno.
Certainly is, and there you see a beautiful look at our second place aircraft, Scott Holmes, in race 9 as he makes his way around now back into turns 1 and 2. And then you see now in the shot in third place, that's Push Wah in race 17. Plane he calls Annie. Close up on the second place aircraft, Outlaw Special.
Always been an international event here in the desert. Great now to have a competitor from India among the ranks here. And this in this class, which is the sort of the gateway class to racing, this type of closed course pylon racing.
Yeah, and it's also our most historic class, Tommy. And these aircraft, kind of hard to tell when they're against the blue sky, but these aircraft are very small. You basically strap them on. You know, they weigh a minimum of 500 pounds. And
that's like a Harley Davidson.
Well, it's about half the weight of a Harley Davidson. So, you know, they can weigh between 500 to 600 pounds, fully fueled. They're near 800 pounds, but you're still about half the weight of a Harley Davidson motorcycle. And then we're back to our leader as he makes his way back around the turns here in the pylons. You get to see what it looks like as they come. Now, we do have the pylons, in this case, the 3.5-mile course has 6 of them, 3 on each end, and the aircraft has to stay outside of that, and we have judges at every pylon on the race course who are looking straight up to see if a racer cuts it too tight, and that's how we keep it fair and make sure they stay on the racetrack. There's a time penalty if you cut the race and cut the pylon. There you see a beautiful shot of the pylon in our camera there as we continue to look at our leader, Stephen Coleman, race 37.
He's not being pushed very much at all, but being pushed is second place Scott Holmes, being pushed very, very vigorously by Push Wah.
Yeah, Annie in the Push is flying there is beginning to figure it out and make ground. Every time they go through the turns, I've noticed that Push is beginning to gain on him a little bit. When they roll out in the straightaway, Scott Holmes in race 9 is able to keep the speed fairly matched. But Push is doing something in the turns where he's converting some of that straightaway speed into a turn. You see there in that beautiful shot, he is gaining in that straightaway. And then as they go through the turns, you notice that Push has to pass on the outside. He has traded some of that speed for some altitude, and then now he is sliding back in beside, trying to tuck down in, and we'll see as they go down the backstretch here how that works again. But he's gaining slowly but surely on the Tommy.
International Formula One, that's the full name of this class here, and this is the bronze medal class. Everyone trying to make it up, try to gain in class during the course of these qualifying days here in the desert.
Yeah, Tommy, you're exactly right. As we go through these heat races, aircraft can move up and move down depending on their speed, and the idea being when we get to Sunday and we have all the final races, everybody is most closely matched with their competitors, and when we see some very competitive racing throughout the week. Not that this isn't, because we definitely are seeing, look at this continued battle for second place here as we watch second and third with Scott Holmes in the red, race 9, and Push Wah in the white, race 17.
Scott so far able to hold Push off, but how long can he keep it up? That's a really good race going on right there. Again, our leader, Stephen Coleman, is out in front by a considerable margin right there. He's trying to go back up in class, back up to the B class.
Look at that view, Tommy. We've got cameras out in the desert and the pylons giving our viewers just an up-close and personal view of this spectacular racing. And there you see Push beginning to accelerate a little bit down that backstretch. So he's beginning to figure something out. You can see he's on the outside, so a little bit of an optical illusion that he may be in front, but watch as they go through this turn. They are virtually side by side, but remember the inside track is the shorter one. Scott Holmes in the red race 9 has the shorter course around pylons 4, 5, and 6 here as they make their way back towards the home stretch. Tommy, we're in lap number 4. We're just about halfway through. When they cross the home pylon here, they will have completed half of the laps, but you can see We did have a successful pass there by Push Wah.
Push Wah now in second place there. Back to our leader now. Stephen Coleman, the slab dog, Orange Casset.
Tommy, that push was so exciting, or that pass was so exciting to watch by Push Wah. And you see the strategy playing out as we get into the race. He followed Scott Holmes for several laps, sizing him up, and then finally found a place to take advantage of that acceleration and made his way by. Now, Push Wah, we talked about him being from India. He's also a rookie, so this is his very first year racing here. But boy, he's doing a great job. There's a shot of our leader, and now we're jumping back to second and third. And we were just talking about Push Wah, and you can see where he is pulling away now from some of the strategy that he's figured out. Yeah, that's really pulling.
Has stretched it, yeah.
Pulling away from him, which is just so exciting to see how the strategies play out in these various classes.
Neither second or third place been able to make up any ground on Stephen Coleman. Again, Stephen Coleman trying to get back up into that silver class. And it's going to be based on his time here. So Stephen Coleman's not going to lay off. He's not going to, phone this one in. He's going to keep it pushed until the end.
Yeah, and there he is on screen, Tommy. In the shot right before that, you saw him out in the distance. He's almost a full half a lap ahead of our second place pilot there in Push Wah in race 1-7. So race 37 there you see as he rolls around pylon number 4 and headed for 5 and 6, making his way back around the west end of the up close and personal 3.5 mile course. Beautiful aircraft, and you can see he is just locked in, Tommy. He's right on those pylons, holding his altitude, and you saw come through the shot there. He's beginning to catch some of the slower traffic, and we may see here in the last lap, we may see him finally pass one of those slower aircraft. We'll see.
Yeah, one of the first one there, right there. Dominic Kakalici, the first one he encounters there. He just passed him. Ahead of Kakalici is Robinson in race number 6.
You can see our leader pitching up. He just completed the race. And we see other aircraft continuing to go around to finish their last lap as we're watching. This is race 72. Dominic Kakalici from Mentor, Ohio, in that beautiful yellow and black aircraft. There is the home pylon. You can see Dominic in the distance there going down the backstretch. Great perspective from that shot, Tommy, of how really up close and personal this 3.5 mile course is as it makes its way around. And here you see coming around the final 4, 5, and 6 pylons here. This is Todd Rumsey in race 58 as he makes his way. Yep, Sonic Zoom. Looks like he's slated to finish in unofficially 5th place. Yep. As he comes across the home pylon right here. You'll see it pass through right there. And right behind him, finishing 6th in our heat of 6, is Dominic Kakalici. Race 72. What a beautiful Casset airplane there. The Sky Addict, he calls that airplane. And you see him pitch up at the end of the race, ladies and gentlemen. They pitch up, make their way around to land.
That's how you leave the race course. You go up to leave, no matter what the situation is. And we have got race 2C in Formula One class in the books. Not official as yet. All the race officials will review everything that they saw and recorded in many cases. Make the final results for us, and we'll get those for you in just a minute. That's the first of our F1 races. A lot of F1 racing on the card this morning.
Yeah, and you see our Stoll drag racers out there on the ramp in front of us, and you can see in the distance other aircraft here at the Reno Stead Airport. Just such a beautiful day, and what a beautiful venue. This is our last year, our final flag here at Reno Stead Airport. 59 years we've been racing here in the iconic home pylon. But Tommy, let's look at the recap here.
Well, there was your top qualifier, the Slab Dog, that orange airplane on the right. That was the favorite to win the race, and he did jump out to a quick lead as all our racers got underway and started counting laps after that first starter lap.
Yeah, and as we make our way through here for a long time, this is race 9. Scott Holmes in the Outlaw Special was in second, but he was under pressure the entire time from race 1-7 from Push Wah out of Mumbai, India. And eventually Push was able to size him up. He figured out that he had speed. We saw it especially in the straightaways, and then you saw him execute that pass. Again, you have to pass on the outside. Here you see the pass right here. This was the race within the race in this heat, and there is the exciting pass. And Push, a rookie here at Reno, makes the pass, and he ends up finishing unofficially in second place, Tom.
Serving notice. We'll see if his time is good enough to move him up in class. Well, that'll all be revealed later on today. Right now, we just follow our leader, 37, the Slab Dog. Fairly effortless victory here.
Yeah, flag to flag he led, and you saw him pass the 6th place, unofficially Dominic Kakalici there on the end. And there's our leader, back on the ground safely, race 37. That's the Slab Dog, beautiful orange Casset 3M aircraft. And get a picture here, Tommy. We talked about the size of these airplanes. You can see the pilot in there. You can see Stephen Coleman inside there. They are very small. In fact, you see when they begin to tow these back to the hangar, they'll often just grab the back end near the horizontal stab.
One person.
One person can pick it up and turn it around. Very small, but that's the whole idea about these, what once were called the midget racers. The history of air racing in the United States back to the 30s is so intense and so historic. Man, it's exciting to see them racing here at Reno again this year.
A lot of tradition, a lot of memories and history on display here on this very, very special week as we close this chapter in the desert and get ready to start the next chapter for these National Championship air races. There are your results right there. Slab Dog number 37, Stephen Coleman takes the top spot. Push Wog in Annie number 17, a very exciting 6th and 7th lap for him, absolutely taking the lead away from Scott Holmes, who finishes 9, race 9 in Outlaw. Carl Robinson, the Buddy Special. 4th place, Todd Rumsey, Sonic Boom, race 58, and race 72, Dominic Acalici, Sky Addict in 6th. We have got just getting started really here in the desert. Day number 2 of racing. More Formula One and all of our other classes on the card today. So much fun to be able to bring you this coverage.
By the way, behind the bleachers, what Steve is talking about is to our left as we face the race course. Perhaps you haven't been here. East and west can only be identified by the sun in the morning.
In the morning, that's for sure.
I figured that must be east. The sun is coming up over the mountain. So get back there. As Steve Temple mentioned to you, you can see the Unlimiteds and all their color and pageantry. You can see the T6 aircraft. The sport aircraft are down there, usually in their own specific tents. And then you go into a hangar. Don't stop where you see the end of the airplane. Look for a big open hangar. That's where the Formula Ones are.
Right, and it'll say Reno Air Race Association. That's where the administration is, and that in itself is historic. You just take that one last stroll through the hangar and feel the energy and the history and the again, the accomplishments that we did here.
All right, Steve Temple, listen, are you going to race later on today?
I'm going to race in about 30 minutes now.
Okay, you better get out of here.
All right, we'll see you next
All right,
time.
Steve Temple, he's going to get back into the cockpit. Turn around, Steve. You got some great friends here. Give Steve a big round of applause. We will see him rounding the pylons later, buddy. See you later. Okay. Multitasking is what we call that. Now, we're going to go back, according to the schedule, into Stoll Racing. And the Formula One racers are very light aircraft. And the Stoll aircraft, of course, have that limitation on crosswind because of the environment they're in. So we do that in the morning when the winds are relatively calm. And if you look at the flags out at the Reno checker pylon, you'll see that we have a no-wind condition pretty much. And that's ideal. So we pack all that in the morning so that we have the greatest amount of safety, and then they can relax throughout the course of the day and not have to worry about the winds and thermals picking up and all the things that Mother Nature can do for us. All right, we're getting permission to take the course, and Juan Brown is back with us along with Anitra Goddard. All right, now we're going to wait for a minute. Here's what I want you to do is we are hearing from the vendors, the people that have the